Welcome back to Corey Taylor Builds. Today we are getting back to work on our turbo diesel powered IROC-Z Camaro. Specifically, this 6.5 right here, we are going to be building a stud girdle for. You guys know me, you know I like to reuse stuff. So we are going to be building this girdle out of an old plow blade. Should be fun. Now, I have got a random piece of cardboard here. We're going to try to get this lined up, figure out about where we're going to end up sitting, start carving out, make a design out of this. We're going to lay it under the plow blade, cut that out. That'll get us more of an idea of what we're going to be doing. Start cutting, trimming. I'm going to go a little oversized at first, and then we're going to try to clean it up and tighten it up exactly what we need. Now, one of the difficult parts about this is actually a pretty precise project. I don't really have a nice crisp straight edge on either of these, but I'm just going to call one of these a straight edge. I'm going to use these to push down and get our holes marked. And then while I'm doing that, I'm going to lift up this side. You've got to rotate the crank because the crank's kind of in the way. We're going to keep lining it up, push down. I'm going to keep this as straight as possible, so even if there's a gap there, but I'm trying to line holes up, that's more important. Which is surprisingly difficult when this crank is so much in the way. Okay, I think we got it. So those are all of our holes right there. We now got a little printout of those. So I can work off that to figure out exactly how we're gonna come off those. We know the width we need, because I got the exact width of all the brackets. Well, the flange we're gonna sit on top of. We got the width, so we can get those holes opened up, get an idea how far out we need to go, start getting that all set up. Got a bit of a messy surface here, but I'm just kind of free balling here. And those are going to end up like that. Same thing here. Took some other measurements to figure this out better, but it appears we're going to be coming about 1.25 inches past the center of the hole here. That is going to be our outer edge. Pull this in, try to get the 1/2 inch mark in the center of the hole the best we can. So that's going to be a straight edge back there. I'll run a straight edge across that way we get a good straight line. I'm going to figure out how deep we need to go. You can see this one. This is our highest ridge on the counterweight. There are 2 of those. So we're going to go to that high point. We're going to try to measure from the center of the hole, but we know this flange right here, the back wall here, is about a 1/2 inch away from the center of the hole. So we can measure from that. And we'll get in there. That spot to show you the measurement. So we're going to go and say at the base here, we probably want to be out, say, 1 inch. So what we might end up doing is, let's see, our second for this counterweight. We are more or less at 3/4 inch. So we gain about 1/4 inch just from that counterweight. We should have the same setup over here. More or less 3/4. more or less 3/4. And then when we come to this one, it appears we're closer to 1 inch. So what we're going to end up having to do there is we'll just do them all 3/4 out from the back flange, so we're only 1/4 inch out from the bolt hole. And then we'll notch this one a little bit more. We'll just get in there with the grinder, open it up to what we need. That way we're not losing a rigidity over all the holes, just over one weight being a little extra. So we're going to come back to our pad here. We're going to come back to our concrete here, and we're going to line it up center of the hole here. We're going to come out about 3/4. That's our last one. I didn't need to mark that. Doy. So we're going to line up 1/2 inch in the center of the hole. Do about 3/4. Right about there. So, I'm pretty happy with that. What I'm going to end up doing, actually, I think, is our 3/4 is about lined up with the back of this. It's a hair. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bump it back a hair, line it up with the edge of our plate there. That'll make it simpler. And also we know we're a little bit extra than what we need to be, which is easier on us because we won't have to do extra grinding to clear for those counterweights. All right, let me go grab a straight edge quick. Straightest thing I have in this length is actually a drywall cutter, but that will work just fine. We're going to line up there and there. That will be our outer edge. And then let's line up the inner edge. Appears to not be perfect. We'll do some extra measurements before we drill the holes, because those are a lot more important than the rest of these measurements right now. So that's a good idea of what our brackets are going to look like. In fact, that's an exact example of what our bracket's going to look like. So obviously our holes are going to be there. Our bracket's going to come out like that. We'll clean up the edges a little bit, try to make it look a little nicer. It's not going to be a boxy thing. But we're going to take that and cut it out of our blade here. And then we'll trim it down exactly what we need to get a more precise fit out of it. I'm going to cut this cardboard template out of here quick. There we go. We got an about bracket cut out. Flip this over to a cleaner side. That right there is exactly what our bracket's going to look like. You see that hole's going to get in our way, so what we're going to do is just slide it about down to there where none of the holes are in our way. Nice. For some reason this is the only magnet I have on hand, so we're just going to hold that in place with that. Alright, there's our template. I'm going to go ahead and get this cut out quick and I'll be right back. Alright, here's the piece all finished and cut out. You can see I started trying to drill a couple holes in it. We are now in my little shop in the basement at my house, mostly because I have a drill press here. I was doing these with just a regular drill and it wasn't going as well. So I came in here. We're going to get all these holes drilled with the drill press here quick. Then we'll test fit it on the motor. All right, you can see here we got a very rough cutout. That should line up right about there. That's just going to bind all those together for us. Ended up a little thinner than I would have liked it to, and I had to angle those because the corner of that oil pan there needs to be able to clear around that. And I think I have it about right just from eyeballing it. We're going to go ahead and try to bolt this down quick. See if I can do it with one hand. See if we can get bolts. I got these new bolts. They're about a 1/2 inch longer. They're also an Allen key, and they are a 12.9 grade. These are metric bolts. The old bolts are a 10.9. I was able to get these ones in a 12.9. Probably didn't need to make them any stronger. These are about 20 to 25% more tensile strength than the 10.9 bolts. You can see that they all went in perfectly. Right, let's take our oil pan, which I have right here. That goes on. It's not going to go all the way down because I don't have those freaking bolts all the way down. However, if we scooch that forward, it looks like our holes are lining up. I don't know if you can see that. So we should be good to go. That looks like it'll clear everything. We're going to clean it up. We're going to smooth out all the edges. We don't want any sharp edges in here. We want this to look nice, smooth. Tell you what I didn't check. Oh, we got plenty of clearance from the crankshaft. And the only thing we can't check, which I think we're going to have enough clearance, is rod and piston. The studs coming off the bottom of the rods, which we can always come in here, grind a little bit off the bottom of this if we need to. I think we have enough clearance just looking at that, but we'll find out once we go for final assembly. Okay, we got that bracket all cleaned up now. Got the edges all trimmed. Now let's go ahead and duplicate it. Alright, we got that bracket all cleaned up now. Got it flattened out a bit, edges all rounded. Let's go ahead and duplicate it. There we go. We got 2 of them. As you can see, this one didn't quite turn out as well, but it'll do what we want it to. Let's go bolt them both to the motor. Alright. Got this one started a while. One last bolt to go in there. Let's grab the other one. These are directional because there's actually different spacing between all of these. You can't flip them, which is weird. Get my arm right in front of the camera. Alright guys, while you're watching me bolt this down, go ahead and head down into the description. I got my store down there. We got a couple t-shirts and a sticker available. Throw those up on the screen here so you can get a good look at them. It helps me out, helps me finish this build, and I would really appreciate it. And I'd love to see you guys out at some swap meets or car shows wearing my t-shirt. Back to watching me bolt stuff down and talking. I guess I should also tell you, these are 12 by 175, and I believe these are 85 or 80 millimeter length bolts. We're using the 1/2 inch plate steel. These are normally 70 mil. And of course they use metric because why not? And you can pick these up at most hardware stores or machine shops. You don't need to order these things anything special. The factory ones are just 10.9 grade metric bolts, so you don't need to get anything special really. Just go get something and bolt it in. See if this slides on. Got a little bit of these notches here are hitting. I'm just going to go ahead and knock those with a hammer and bend them out. We only need to do about that much. There we go. Knock those out. Probably got us a little bit more oil capacity too. Now we slide right down on there. See, that fits perfectly. I don't even know what those are for. Maybe they're for something for the trucks, for clearance, but not necessarily where we're going, so that is perfect. It slides on exactly where we want it. We got that in there. Nice. Exactly how we wanted it. Let's see, you can get this spun. You can see we got plenty of clearance in there, more than we probably need, honestly. We could have probably tucked that a little bit closer than that, but I'm happy where it is, and also we still don't know how the rods are going to turn out. I think we're going to have more than enough room for those too, but we won't know till we get those in. That looks pretty good, and obviously this is nowhere near as good as a actual stud girdle one you can buy, but this is a heck of a lot cheaper. It's a lot more physical labor, but you get a good job. This is going to do way more than nothing is going to do. Not having anything between these can flex. That's what the stud girdle does. It keeps these from flexing, and it keeps our bolts from cracking in the block down here. So this is going to make a huge difference alone just having these. I don't know what that one's going to do, but a little twig right there. But I'm not going to remake them. I don't need anything crazy for this build. I'm just trying to help the motor out a little bit. Obviously, we don't need to paint this. It's going to get covered in oil. And I'm really happy with that. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed us building this stud girdle here. I know I didn't show a lot of the cutting and grinding, but that's because there is a lot of cutting and grinding that goes into something like this. I mean, there's a lot of detailed work, and I figured that would be really boring to watch. So, just gave you the basics on how I made this, and maybe you can do it yourself if you want to. That's all I really wanted, was to give you an idea, if you don't know how to start, where to start on this. So, thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already. Head to the store. Have a good day.